was on the way. I stopped by the store real quick and fixed the crew for this.
What is the island? It's island time.
Yeah. But I came at night.
And Jacob is
Oh, okay. Hey, and enjoy your Luta itinerary.
So yeah, it was good, man. I was sitting for there a day and then Saturday to Sunday, una siguro na munyang siya.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that.
No, YouTube is too much back and forth. I had to be for a little while. Maybe I should go ahead and warn the picture.
I see.
Should we leave this on for the rest?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please. Yeah.
Go out and get this video of everybody. Excuse me. Let's squeeze by. Pardon me. It's sorry. I just need to get past you guys. I'll be right back. You want to get in there? I'll take your picture with your phone. Oh, okay, thanks. All right. Very good. Sorry, Senator. Take a little step to your right. Okay, everybody ready? We go here. 1, 2, 3. More. 1, 2, 3. You got one? All right, this one's for Corinna, so you want to make sure you're on her good side. All right, there you go. Alright, so you can see that we're about to hit this press conference here. Go inside with all these folks. We'll find out what is next from the Department of Transportation. Hey, Tom. All right.
11:46. Okay. I'll be there. 4.
Yes.
Try and figure out where everybody's going to settle in here, and we'll get set up. Hello. Hey, was Bart here with NBA? Bart Jackson?
Bart is here on behalf of CPA.
Oh, okay.
He's the board member.
Nice.
Okay.
Hey. All right, let's see what we've got there. These guys are going to be sitting over here, so I'm going to have to move over that way. But I'm going to set the mics up over here first. Oop. Yeah, I'm just throwing stuff around.
Yeah, what is that?
No problem. I just got to set this on here. I got to move around to the other side. So, just going to get set up here, folks. We'll set up some microphones and get some spots.
I think you should be in that other crowd. So we're going to go to line with that.
Sorry, I'm just going to try to squeeze this between the two of you.
move over to the other side.
We're not AS in the open sky.
Okay, okay.
Make sure they have for that.
Yes,
Well,
please.
actually,
Yeah, we'll share. Okay, great,
share.
great, yeah, please.
Out of the frame.
Oh, this is where it's happening, okay.
Come and join us here. They want to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Trying to get everybody on the side. Oh no, I gained it already. I'm not gaining, I gained it already. Capture everybody here. And we got some cat gifts on there instead of the. And
Excuse me, part of my reach. I'm gonna add to your collection of business cards here.
sorry.
Thank you so much.
Morning.
Governor, I think you had
Brett?
it.
Yeah.
Just in case you don't have it.
I know. I know where to reach you.
I do have yours. Is that the new one?
What's that? This is the fancy one because it's got that line on the bottom.
Okay.
That's your one. Collector's edition. We just renamed that mic.
how's the BBB?
It was great.
Really?
Yeah.
Very good. Is the BBB?
Well, we had the CBs come out,
Yeah.
and then
It was-
folks are part of the training.
The CBBB?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like my Rhoda Smart Safe from the BBB?
Or the mirrors up.
Oh, I loved it.
My mic.
I think I actually loved it on
Mic was
before. That was
As a
awesome.
matter of fact, siempre me reach out para my schedule para
Hmm?
You had a good view of the camera.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
All right, would you like us to jump right into questions? Or-
Sure, sure.
Sure.
All right, maybe Congresswoman King-Hines, I believe this is happening at your invitation. If you don't mind just telling us how this all transpired first.
Well, you know, I'm very thankful to the Deputy Assistant Secretary Jared Smith here, who reached out to the office to continue the conversation, to look at different opportunities to be able to jumpstart critical lifelines to the CNMI as it relates to air transportation. And he offered to, you know, join efforts and to put together a working group. This was just about a week and a half ago, and here he is on island to have that conversation with our key stakeholders from the government side and the private side. And so, you know, first of all, I want to say thank you, Jarrett. I mean, that was the fastest response that we could have ever received, and the fact that you're here demonstrates the department's commitment to helping us find a solution, and also, you know, the Trump administration's commitment as well, because you're a reflection of the administration. And so I just want to say thank you to you, and I want to say thank you to the governor for putting together his team to be able to present, so that, you know, we know what the facts are, what the community is facing as it relates to the economy, and how critical our tourism industry is to the government. So thanks,
Thank you.
really.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Thank you so much. I just want to follow on to what the Congresswoman said, and I want to first express our greetings from the Trump administration and from our Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy. The Congresswoman has been an incredibly strong voice in Washington for the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and her work on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, and we appreciate the dialogue that we've had, as the Congresswoman mentioned, ongoing and continual. In recent weeks, we had this conversation, and we are honored to be here. And thank you so much, Congressman, Governor, for your hospitality that you've extended to us and for the conversations that you've facilitated on these issues that are of critical importance to the people.
And Assistant Secretary Smith, I mean, where do we even begin? EBS TAP, maybe? The cost of inter-island travel between Guam and the CNMI. I'm sure you heard it all this morning. So what are your key takeaways? How can DOT help the CNMI?
Well, there's a lot of different elements in that. I would say that the costs are something that we're mindful of. There are historically, there have been programs to assist with that. There's the Essential Air Service Program. The Congresswoman has legislation to that effect, other legislation that could help address these issues. The department will faithfully implement anything Congress passes that would help alleviate some of those cost burdens that may exist. We have been in conversation with carriers. We understand market forces at play that add to their cost and there's some inherent costs of serving these communities. So we're understanding of what they face as well. And we're, as part of this working group, looking to convene all stakeholders so that we can discuss ways that we might be able to address some of these things in a rapid manner, as rapid as possible.
And on EVS TAP, can you just set the record straight on what caused the delay and how is it being implemented now?
So this is something that the Department of Transportation doesn't handle, so I would not be able to speak to EVS TAP specifically. I'd point you to our colleagues at the Department of Homeland Security on that specifically.
Can you tell us about, what are some of the things that folks brought up to you today? I mean, I imagine it was an open house where they were able to present some things to you, so what were some of the things that you heard from our folks?
We had a wide-ranging discussion, hearing from different stakeholders and perspectives within the community, across the communities here, and we heard about different challenges which are have been very marked on the communities, and some ideas that have existed and new ideas that we're discussing on how we might be able to address them. So we heard from the Commonwealth Ports Authority on how their experience has been over these past years and decades, frankly, dealing with some of these issues. We heard from the Marianas Visitors Authority, and they spoke about the mix of visitors that are coming and where the potentials might exist in the future. And we heard from the finance, to get an understanding of, quite frankly, the dire conditions that exist in the financial state of the government right now. So we heard, and we also heard from Commerce for their ideas from a commercial front, as well as members of the legislature representing various communities. So we had a very frank and wide-ranging discussion where we heard from a lot of stakeholders with differing perspectives.
Did anybody mention a word that rhymes with Blue Knighted?
That came up, and I will say that we at the Department of Transportation we talk with our stakeholders and our U.S. carriers all the time, and we have been in constant communication with United, both on connectivity here and elsewhere, and they have said to us that they want to be part of this working group, and they want to discuss ways that we can address challenges that exist here. So I'm looking forward to United's participation in that, and we will be including them in this working group, as well as any other stakeholders and airline partners that want to be part of it.
Did you touch on Annex 6 at all in your conversations?
It came up in our conversations, in our ongoing dialogue with the Congresswoman. We have talked about this. There is an application by the Commonwealth Ports Authority in front of our office, so I don't want to get into too much detail and prejudge any matters that are before our office, so that's all I'll say on that matter.
And can you tell us what is DOT's view, specifically the Trump's administration view, when it comes from tourists from China? I know it's a Homeland Security issue, as you said, but does DOT have any stance on whether or not tourists from China and the existing system we have set up are in fact a threat to national security?
I would say that specifically on that question, from the Department of Transportation's view, as part of the administration, we are working with the Chinese government to address our bilateral air transport agreements, and that's an ongoing process. Back in 2020, the department, issued a Part 213 order, and since that time, we've been, working through the issues that led to that. And we are still working on that. So that's all I will say on that front. But it remains ongoing with the government of China.
The Jones Act doesn't apply to us with regards to shipping, but it would seem like there would be a pretty easy parallel for cabotage out here. And the CNMI, was that brought up today, and any thoughts about that?
It was brought up, and we spoke about it. The Congresswoman has legislation to that effect. From the department's perspective, the cabotage rules and laws are clear, and just as with EAS or any other solutions, if Congress were to pass something on cabotage, the department would implement it, but that would be a legislative fix, not something that the department would act unilaterally on.
After hearing everything you heard today, were there any specific things that you think that the department could do that could implement at the department level to try to alleviate some of the hardships that we have out here?
I think, we heard some anecdotal reports of things that carriers have told both the Visitors Authority and the Ports Authority, and I think that the department can play a role in trying to link some of those things up. For example, if a carrier is expressing concerns about putting a code on a flight because of some technical challenges that may have prevented them from doing so, I think as a department we can reach out to the carriers that we work with and try to solve some of that in the immediate term. So facilitating those conversations, I think, is immediately how we can be important. And working with the Congresswoman's office and this working group, I think, will lead to some positive outcomes in the short, medium, and long term.
Mr. Governor, maybe we can give the Assistant Secretary a chance to take a breath, but can you tell us about how today's meetings worked so far?
Well, today's meeting went pretty well. I think there's a lot of information that was brought out by several departments, especially MBA and Finance and CPA, Commerce. Good information, and I hope Mr. Smith and Mr. Cabrin can take it back to the DOT and, like I asked, I said, please take a look at our issues here in the Commonwealth, especially our issue with United, where, our people are paying outrageous price just to travel to Guam. Plus, not only that, one flight a day is not good enough for us, when we are forced to stay overnight on Guam. There's no connecting flight. We have to pay a hotel in Guam to get to Hawaii or somewhere else. So, and also we discussed issues about tourism. That's our major issues actually this morning, because without tourism, there's no revenue for us in the Commonwealth, and we need to push that. And with your help, Mr. Smith and Mr. Brin is an expert negotiator for airline, so I'm sure that they can go back and help us out. With, of course, our Congresswoman here, working very hard for us, our people of the Commonwealth. So thank you for taking your time to come out here in a very short time. We definitely need your assistance, and we appreciate that.
Thank you, Governor.
LT?
Thank you, Governor. So it's been a very fruitful discussion today. I believe we heard a lot of the issues that are coming from the agencies, the department head, and again, the beauty of today is, again, this is the first time of its kind for the Department of Transportation to come down and actually hear and see firsthand some of these issues that are being addressed to the department by the Congresswoman. I know there's some legislation that she's working on, and I think that those are some of the fixes that can help craft and try and fix some of these long issues that face the CNMI. One of the things that I just shared with The congressman is this legislation that Congressman Aldan is working on to kind of pretty much create a working group and address the EAS situation. So that's something that's coming from the legislative side that the governor and I can look at and hopefully create this strong working group so that we can address these issues directly versus through chain of individuals. So I think having this working group will simply address those problems. We can see more fruit out of the discussion versus just having these discussions just for the sake of it. So I want to thank the congressman for having this. I want to thank you, Jared, for coming out, and everybody that participated in today's event.
Thank you, Mr. Lieutenant.
We give him a taste of Kelowna also.
What's the next step for something like this? You could start maybe really short term. What's your next step today? But what's the next step when you get this kind of information when you go back to DC?
So sure, today we'll be talking with private sector, and we'll be with the remainder of the day with the Congresswoman and meeting with other stakeholders here. And then when we go back to Washington, we've already been in touch with our interagency colleagues, specifically the Department of Commerce and the National Travel and Tourism Office. We have already discussed with them the establishment of this working group, and I would anticipate that we would be convening the first meeting of that within the next week or two. So that's the immediate next steps.
And can you share if you've had any conversations about public transit, maybe a ferry system or even the bus route that's in development right now?
Sure. So specifically, the office, our office is Aviation International Affairs, and there are other components within our department, Federal Transit and others, that would deal with those issues. So the conversation today focused specifically on air service connectivity.
So did anybody in their discussions bring up the difficulty on bringing pets in or bringing them out from the island?
That did not come up in our conversations today. I have had conversations with United on that point specifically, but it didn't come up today.
Is there anything that you can elaborate on that DOT would do for the CNMI in that regard?
My understanding is that that is a matter specifically, that we don't have a role in that. That United Airlines has been in conversations with the Commonwealth on that, and there are some things on that related to a veterinarian that have to do with that issue. But it didn't come up today, and I would defer to United on that, and the Commonwealth.
And I know you addressed it before, but is a $500 ticket acceptable to DOT for a route like Guam to Saipan? Is that acceptable to the Department of Transportation?
Well, I mean, to address the question, I think the department is looking at what tools are available to, make things more accessible and connect communities. So to the extent that we can help alleviate the costs of travel, we are interested to do that.
And on that note, I was fortunate enough to be on one of those trips to DC, and when we presented some of these issues to some of the other representatives there, specifically about the prices in between our islands, they said, well, geez, we've got a program that is really designed just for you with essential air services. So what is our next step to try to get that involvement?
Well, my understanding is the Congresswoman has already addressed that. The EAS program is something that it does fall under our office, but the communities are set by Congress. And at the moment, CNMI communities are not part of that program. The Congresswoman, I understand, has introduced legislation to address that. So I would, look at Congress for next steps on that.
Okay.
What aren't we asking you that we should be asking you?
You've really covered a wide range of questions, so I don't have a lot that I can think of that you haven't covered.
How about your first take on getting to meet folks out here on the ground?
It's very heartening to see the commitment that everyone has to making this community thrive, and that's been my first impression. And the leadership that everyone has shown here, and the governor and the congresswoman, the lieutenant governor, and the hospitality has been really noteworthy. And we're just very happy with our conversations today, and think that this will be a fruitful collaboration.
Is this a one-stop shop, or are you going to come back?
Yeah, well, I think it's telling that, as the Lieutenant Governor said, I mean, this is the first time that he can recall that anyone from the department has been here. I think that there's a new administration, you have a new governor, new congresswoman, this is a new start for everybody, and I think that, we plan to make this ongoing, that this is not one stop. So I think that the Trump administration is committed to helping where we can and with the authorities that the federal government has, specifically the executive branch. And I imagine that myself and Department of Transportation colleagues will be back here.
I want to just share something with you guys. So, this conversation happened about 2 weeks ago. And in quick, short order, Jared is on the plane, he's here. Right, and that just doesn't normally happen. As a matter of fact, the regional office out of Hawaii called and said, "Hey, are you tracking this visit?" Because typically, there are processes that you have to go through, and then folks on the ground kind of help organize and arrange. But Jarrett made that decision, and we agreed that it was something that he needed to do immediately, and he's here. I was in a meeting on Saturday with the Department of Defense, and the question was, hey, are you tracking the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Transportation? I was like, yes, I am. And then they're like, oh, because we're not tracking and we're just wondering how this is happening. That tells me that the Trump administration is deeply committed to trying to figure out this situation and to assisting the CNMI to the extent that they're authorized under the law to be able to move things forward. And I'm hoping, right, that by getting the Department of Transportation to get a better understanding of the nuanced challenges here, we can also get some advocacy from them to, the Congress, right? The administration's support for some of this legislation, like the EIS or the cabotage, if those are possibilities and avenues where we can address some of these issues. So I can't underscore how grateful I am for, how responsive you have been, and please give Secretary Duffy my deepest appreciation.
Thank you, Congressman.
Congressman,
Same as the president.
Yes,
Thank you so much,
President,
Governor.
too.
what's been the support on your bills of EAS and cabotage up in that?
So we are getting some traction with regards to the cabotage, and in large part it's directly tied into how do we get the CNMI to be economically self-sustainable. Obviously there are different stakeholders with different perspectives as to how to go about doing that, and so this is why it's important that we have DOT here to be able to understand the nuanced challenges and hopefully, get some alignment in terms of pushing that legislation forward. I've said this before, that if essential air service was something that could happen, this is not a new issue. My predecessor introduced legislation to do the same thing, but the reality is that right now in Congress there's no strong appetite to expand the program because it is incredibly expensive. As a matter of fact, they're looking to just downsize the program altogether. But given the extraordinary circumstances that we face with regards to the economy, I'm hoping that the more people that come to the CNMI and kind of understand just the challenges with the remoteness and then the external factors as geopolitics presents itself, as well as these other limitations, right, to being able to expand our tourism industry, that there'd be a lot more appetite to be able to support the inclusion of the CNMI to the EAS, the Essential Air Service Program. And that's something that we've been channeling up to the administration, to President Trump, and it makes a huge difference, right? When you have the president saying, I can support something like this, but first we must do our job to be able to advocate for ourselves and get everybody to understand what our challenges are. And so this is one of the first steps, and as you all know, and I've shared this before, we have Codell's coming out to the CNMI at the end of the month, who is going to be looking at the same thing with regards to some of the business opportunities here in the CNMI. And so I think it's important for us to show the administration that we're trying to exhaust everything under the sun, right? We're looking at, we're not just looking at tourism, we're looking at diversifying the economy, right? And so I think that's important, and we're all working together to accomplish a goal. And I want to say that I'm incredibly grateful to the governor and the LT and the speaker and the Senate president who was here, because we are, all working in sync. We're saying the same thing, that our economy is our biggest priority. Tourism is a huge part of that economy, and that we are all going to do our part to be able to push some of these issues forward. So.
I'm sorry,
Again, I
I'm
just
trying to
wanna-
catch up because I'm sorry for coming late. But having heard the challenges the CNMI is facing right now in regards to transportation, what can you share to us that the department is doing right now? To say it bluntly, what's the good news that you bring today?
The good news that we bring today is that some issues were raised to our attention that we hadn't heard before, where we might be able to provide some immediate assistance in terms of maybe resolving some challenges that air carriers are having with either adding a code to service here that might help facilitate service, and also any sort of agreements that might have taken place that our office might be able to help with. That's immediately what I could say, but also on this working group, we've already been in touch with Commerce. So just, I think, convening a federal interagency coalition and together with folks here from the Commonwealth Ports Authority, the Visitors Authority, and as well as United Airlines and others who have expressed interest in participating in that. That I think is going to yield some very frank and interesting conversations and hopefully positive outcomes. So that's good news, and the Congresswoman was instrumental in helping us with that, and we'll be setting that up shortly.
A follow-up question. So those things that you said are the things that your department can implement right away. Those are not the things that we are always told in the past that requires legislation.
That's correct. These are new things, that we can do as a Department of Transportation. That's why we can do them short term, because they don't require legislation. Congresswoman could tell you about how that could work with legislation. But no, in the immediate term, these are things under the department's ability that we are working on.
And again, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Smith and Mr. Brent, for coming out here. That's a long way from the Washington, D.C. Now you can see the true picture of what's happening here in the Commonwealth. We've been crying about situations, especially our tourism industry. So I say thank you to Congresswoman also for being instrumental in bringing a help out here to the Commonwealth. And I know that there's a CODEL group that are coming out this month, and then all these issues again will probably surface. And I know you'll be meeting with the private sector this afternoon, and you're going to hear the same outcry from our community, our businesses. So we appreciate you and Mr. Brain for joining us this morning, and we're looking forward to your help from DOT. Now that you have the first-hand information from our people here in the Commonwealth. So thank you. And LT, you want to?
No, thank you, Governor. I just want to pretty much wrap it up by just saying that, your presence here shows that commitment. The Trump administration, the Department of Transportation, the Congresswoman, your presence here, in a short turnaround, shows that commitment that we're interested and eager to fix this problem. And we can't thank you enough for coming here. And the governor and I are really appreciative of your long travel here. So thank you.
Sorry, can I have 2 more questions with you? I don't know when I'm going to
I just want to respond to that, if I may. I want to thank the governor, Lieutenant Governor. This trip did happen under relatively short notice, and for your ability to convene pretty much, in an amazing group of relevant stakeholders on short notice to have this discussion today is very much appreciated and was very valuable for us. So thank you.
Sorry, just 2 quick follow-ups. The first one is on airplane manufacturing, in particular Boeing. We've heard from Mariana's Visitors Authority that other than demand, airplane manufacturing has stifled, that process as well. So what is DOT doing on that end to support the solutions here.
Thank you. That's correct. The delivery delays of new aircraft, I think, is only compounding the air service challenges that are being faced here. And our department is working with manufacturers and carriers, to the extent that we can, and to the extent that we can be helpful. We've had a number of conversations with manufacturers across the industry to work with them. Of course, Boeing, our department, is in constant touch with as well. We are facilitating to the extent that we have been able to do so on that front with carriers and manufacturers. We're having ongoing discussions with them.
All right. Are you taking any trips to other islands in Micronesia or the Pacific after this?
On this journey, not. Yes.
And speaking of traveling around,
Yes.
site visits at the airports that we have here or seaports that we have here, would it just be Saipan, or are you going to be able to check all of them?
On this visit today is going to be Saipan, but we had stakeholders from across the islands here today, so we got a very comprehensive view, I think, from people that represent all parts of the Commonwealth.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the island.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're gonna do maybe one more photo op and then.
Ethan. Mr. Brin, come on, take another photo up.
The negotiator.
It's such a lofty term.
Yeah. Every time I look at your business card, that's the first I see my negotiator as a business card.
It's usually just with foreign governments, I'll have to say.
Can I squeeze past?
Yeah.
Dispense. All right.
Can we do an off the record thing here?
Sure.
We need.
All right, well, we're still here, folks, so that's the best way to take a photo, because I needed a photo of Arnold's back here.
Okay, look here. Here first, so that you're not good. 1, 2, 3, one more. Okay. And then here, please. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more for Brad. One more. Because Arnold's blocking him.
Arnold's got a good back, though. I mean, that's a good look.
I'm done.
It's all right, no problem. Just getting video as well.
Okay. Are you done, Brad? I need one more for every
No, go for it, go for it.
Okay. For every day, 1, 2, 3, this is journal. I'll take one right here.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap up here, and we'll give you another update again on this tomorrow morning for Good Morning Marianas. Again, remember, we're going to be at the airport tomorrow to welcome back the artifacts that are coming from Hawaii, part of that museum. The other thing is, folks, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like and follow us here on the Facebook page, and you can go ahead and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel as well, and follow us on Instagram. Thanks so much. Thanks for your support. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll give you a follow-up when it becomes available. Thank you, folks.